Today is Saturday, August 20th, 2016, and this is the Bunny Slippers of Evil Job Seekers Call-In Show, presented by Evil Bunny Consulting. I'm your host, Tyrone Griffin, and if it's 3 p.m. and you have on your bunny slippers, you are not looking for a job. Welcome, first-time and returning listeners, and our Facebook Live audience. If you are listening live, in this show, we discuss strategies and tactics of job search, staying motivated and dealing with career transition. For more tips, resources, daily motivations, and to listen to archive shows, go to the website, bunnyslippersofevil.com. There you also find links to our Facebook page, our Twitter handle, and our YouTube channel. If you are listening live, you can call in with your questions at 347-202-0929. Again, that number is 347-202-0929. Now, a quick word from our sponsors. Evil Bunny Consulting is the alternative to expensive outplacement to give company-sponsored job search workshops as well as the one-on-one job seeker boot camp. For more information, go to bunnyslippersofevil.com. Resume Edit is a low-cost, high-quality resume writing company. Resumes as low as $35, written by certified resume writers. You can find them online at resume4edit.com or call 404-860-2473. Be sure to tell them you heard about them here on the Bunny Slippers of Evil Job Seekers podcast. Net3dresumes.net. Turn your resume to a web page with a customized domain for 12 months for only $35. Real quick, you can see my resume online at tyronegriffin.com. And for more information on how to get your own, go to 3dresumes.net. And our biggest sponsor, and I'm going to cut this short because I got a lot to cover today, but CareerOyster.com. If you want to get a free 45-minute private session with head coach Howard Caddy, go to CareerOyster.com. Find out the facts now. You'll be glad you did. Remember their motto: the world is your oyster, be the pearl. Well, good morning, everybody on YouTube, Facebook Live, and our Blog Talk Radio audience. Apologize for, as I said, somehow every week we do this show, 5 minutes before I go on the air, everything goes crazy. But it looks like we got it working now, so I'm just gonna run with it. Today's topic is part of this month's theme, which is how-to. This month is all about how-tos. So today's how-to is how to write a resume. And first, let me caveat up front. I am not a certified resume writer. I am not a career coach, guidance counselor, any of those things. So anything I say, point blank, is just my opinion. You want to follow it, you follow it. You don't want to follow it, don't follow it. But again, it is just my opinion. So, as everything I say on this show is truly my opinion. I don't represent any company. I'm just trying to relay some information. And ooh, it's hot in here with this light on. So anyway, apologize, people. Forehead kind of shiny. But anyway, so let's talk about writing a resume. Starting from scratch. If anybody has ever tried to write a resume from scratch, it is not the easiest thing to do. There's a ton of templates all over the internet. If you just Google resume template, you'll probably get a couple of million hits. But that doesn't tell you what each section of the resume should be for, and how you should be doing it. Now, again, this is all just my opinion, point blank. But I'll try to take you through the topics. First thing is the heading: name, your contact information. You want to put your name dead center, big letters, probably all bold, all caps. Why? So if somebody picks up your resume, the first thing they can tell is whose resume this is. Okay, that's number one. So you always want to have that up front. Okay, you want to have I'm trying to get this centered. Here I go. Oh, my glory. You want to get this in the middle. So now on your resume, on the heading section of your resume, you want to have your contact information. You want people to know how to get in touch with you if they see your resume and they like your resume and they want to, okay, how do we get in touch? How do we find this person? My suggestion, this is where you decide how you want to do it, but my suggestion, do not put your address on your resume. Hiring managers, recruiters do not need to know your address. Why? Simple question. Why do they need to know your address? How many people are being interviewed in their home? How many people have had a hiring manager say, let me come to your house? Have had a recruiter say, let me come to your house and interview you. Okay? So there's no reason for them to know where you live. What's a better thing is for the top of your resume, the heading section where it's got your contact information in, put where you're looking for a job. I live out in the suburbs of Atlanta. Okay, I'm out here in the boonies, as people might say. I like it, but there's not a lot of high-paying jobs. This is more of a more relaxed community. Atlanta is a big city with a lot of jobs. On my resume, I don't have my address for a couple of reasons, but also one of the biggest ones is I'm not looking for a job out here. First thing a hiring manager or recruiter looks at after your name is the address or is the city, state. Okay, if you're applying for a job in Chicago and your address says, I'll give my own, Tyrone Griffin, Newburgh, New York, which is where I grew up. They're like, well, why are you looking for a job in Chicago? You live in Newburgh, New York. And they may filter you out right then. It's like, look, I ain't got time to ask this person why they're looking for a job in Chicago if they're in New York. Or the computer algorithm that filters out the applications. Yeah, they still use computers to filter through those applications. Those algorithms might filter you out because it's like, well, it's looking for Chicago and surrounding zip codes. You're in Newburgh, New York, and I'm, my hometown, so which is about 1,300 miles from Chicago. So don't put your address on there for that reason. That's one reason to put the city where you're looking. If I'm looking for an opportunity, it's in Atlanta. I'm going to put Greater Atlanta area on top of my resume. Actually, that's what it says on the top of my resume, Greater Atlanta area, because that's where I'm looking. So if somebody sees that and they're looking for people in Atlanta, oh, here's somebody looking in the Greater Atlanta area. Cool. Okay, we can work with that. The other reason to not put your address on there, and particularly for ladies, men as well, there's this little thing called Google Street View. Okay? Google Street View can show pictures of your house. Okay? Particularly for single people, ladies or gentlemen. You put your address on the top of your resume and you don't know who is going to get your resume. And you put your address on the top and somebody pulls up your address in Google Street View. Okay, so what? They know my house. Think about that a minute. You're a single person, male, female, you come home late from your current job or you're out late, whatever. You got a nice set of bushes in front of your house. Somebody in Australia can look and say, oh, if I want to rob this person, those are the bushes I would hide behind. That's the tree I would wait behind. That's the light I would take out. You don't want somebody to be able to do all that. They don't need to do that for your job. Bottom line, the address you put on your resume, put an address where you're looking, not where you are. Too many, it's just, people in job search. There are crazy people in society, period. Some of those people end up in job search. This is a safety thing. There are people, you don't know who is going to see your resume. You give it to this person, they pass it to this person, they pass it to this person. I used to work with someone, I'm not going to say the name, but this person was the head of our particular organization, probably 150 people under this senior director or wherever. And some people who I used to work with, they know who this person is. This person was a pedophile. And we didn't know that. And how do we know that now? Because shortly after he retired, he was caught at a Starbucks in Milford, Connecticut. I know exactly where the Starbucks was. He was caught trying to solicit a child for sex. It was a sting operation. But this person had been the head of this huge organization that we worked in. He was a pedophile. And I say that because, as far as I know, he was convicted of that. This guy went to work every day, suit, tie, had risen in the ranks in corporate America, but he had this other thing going on. People have those things going on. So be careful, particularly single women. There's no reason for anybody to have your home address. Okay, there's no reason. In addition to that, create if your email address, because you'll have your address, probably a phone number, and an email address. You may have Twitter handle. I don't know what else you might want to put up there. If you have an email that is your personal email, get a new email address. Google will give you free email addresses forever. Get a email address that's specifically for your job search. Okay, if you are Sexy Lady 69, because that's how your people know you. You don't want that on your resume. I say these things and people think, yeah, you're crazy. Nobody ever do that until people do. I've seen it. Trust me. Sexy Lady 69, Big Daddy Mo, Shaka Khan, all this stuff, on their email address because they got that email address when they were, in the Bahamas, drinking beer, whatever. Get a job search email that's just for your job search. I would have like Tyrone Griffin at Gmail or Tyrone Griffin 27 or something. Has your name in it. That's a professional email address. Okay, just for your job search. The other thing you want to get is when you get this, open up a Google account. Google, I'm a Mac head, but Google, hey, I give them props. They do some good stuff. And one of the things they do is they give away free email and free phone numbers. Get a Google Voice phone number. Okay, get a Google Voice phone number, particularly if you are not in the city where you are looking. My actual cell phone number is Connecticut because that's what I've always had and people always knew it. I have a Google Voice number for when I was in job search that had an Atlanta exchange. So if somebody wanted to call me, if I wanted to put a number on my business card or on my resume, it was a local number. Okay, get a Google email address and a Google voice. I think they call it Google Voice, but get a number. It lets you select what area code, all that good stuff, and then what you can do is you can have that number forwarded to your cell phone, so people outside don't have to know that this is the number they call. I still have issues now where I have two numbers, and I always wonder which one to give people, but they both come to my same cell phone. Also, you can set up the voicemail on that Google Voice number. Very professional. If your voicemail on your cell phone, if you still in that area, and your voicemail is like, "What's up, ladies? How you doing? It's the kid." Da 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 da. You don't want a hiring manager, potential boss calling you and say, "Hello, what's up?" You don't want that. Nah, trust me. You don't. Just leave it alone. You don't want to go there. And big sexy mama, hi. No, you don't want that on your voicemail either. You can set up voicemail on your Google number. Nobody's got to know. Okay? So set up an email that's just for your job search. Set up a voicemail that's just for your job search. Nobody has to know. Okay? That's not your real number. That's what you put on the heading of your resume. Wow, we spent 12 minutes talking about the heading of a resume because resumes are important. So that's the heading. So you got your name, you got your email address for people to contact you there. You got a phone number for people to contact you there. And usually right in the middle, below your name, you have the city or the area that you are looking for a job in. It could be as specific as Midtown Atlanta, or it could be as general as Paulding County. Okay? Just depends on how far you're willing to travel, where you want to go. But that's the heading. Okay? So now we get to the good stuff. The objective. Okay, resumes, what is your objective? The objective is intended to be a narrative that takes a hiring manager from where you've been to where you want to go. I didn't make that up. I Googled it. Here I am doing the work for you. So you don't have to. It's your career direction. Okay, that's what your objective is. It is tailored. Here's where I have issues. Or not issues, where I don't agree. And I'll explain why. They say your objective should be geared toward the job you are applying for. I don't believe that you should change your resume and customize your resume for the job you're hiring, your job you're applying for. Why is that, Tyrone? Well, let me tell you. I tried that. when I was in job search, I tried to change my resume around for every job that I applied for. That lasted about a day because after about the fourth or fifth resume where I'm tweaking it just a little bit and I sent it out, then I lost track of who I sent what. Now I got a problem. If one of these comes back, I don't know which one I sent them and what that, it's to take it back to the relationship angle. It's like dating. If you tell a couple of different people different lies about yourself, then you got to remember what lie you told what person. That's not good. Okay. And besides that, a recruiter once told me something. He said that your background doesn't change. Your resume shouldn't either. And it made all the sense in the world to me. But if you write a well-crafted resume that, well-crafted and generic type of resume, you can look for different jobs with the same resume. So long as you don't change what you and we'll get to the summary in a minute, but as long as you don't change the summary to try to fit the job, because once you start changing the summaries to try to fit the jobs, then you got to change everything around, because you can say I want a job here, but then the rest of your resume is pointing somewhere else. So it's a lot of work. It is truly a lot of work to go around changing your objective all the time and changing your resume. It's a lot of work. And if you write your resume correctly, in my opinion, and if you do your job search correctly, and that's a whole nother show, but if you do a lot of your job search correctly, your resume becomes very unimportant. It's like a checkbox. You get a manager to really want you. They don't care about your resume. They want you. Okay? So it's the objective, and I'm not saying don't write one. If you want to do it, I'll tell you this is what it should do. It should show that you know what you want in a job. Make it short and to the point. And every company, before you start putting all these great, nice words, every company thinks they're innovative and impactful. So when you talk about I'm looking for an opportunity, an innovative and impactful company that values diversity and is on the cutting edge of everything else, every company thinks that, let's be real. BlackBerry still thinks they're cutting edge. Sorry, they still think they're cutting edge. They ain't cutting edge in 4, 5, 10 years. But they still, inside, they're having their meetings and they're going, we are bad. And you're like, yeah. Every company thinks they're cutting edge. Right before they turn the lights out in bankruptcy, they still think they're cutting edge. Okay, so putting that stuff up there is nice fluff, but scan through it. Keep it going. The next part, so again, if you want to put an objective, that's up to you. I don't personally have one, but some people find a reason for it. Again, this is my opinion. Do what you got to do. The next part of the resume on the objective is the summary. And the summary, basically, it's what it says. It summarizes your skills and experience. It takes the rest of that resume and sinks it into a 2 or 3 sentences, maybe a paragraph. Okay, that's what the summary does. Let me say this. I keep saying if you write your resume right, understand this. The resume, it's a body. The whole thing has to fit together. If your resume, it's like if you're building a human and you put Usain Bolt's body on Kim Kardashian's head, it's not pretty. Okay, so remember that your resume has to fit together. It has to flow together. Okay, so your resume has to be succinct. It has to fit together. So your summary, again, it summarizes your skills. Now here's the part. The right below my summary, and if you go to TyroneGriffin.com, you can see my resume. I got updated. I think that's what I'm probably going to spend this weekend doing. If you want to, what's important, and I'm thinking about from the standpoint of a hiring manager or a recruiter. I'm looking at a resume. I want to know, real simple, what can you do for me? That's the reality. That's it. What can you do for a brother? Okay? All that, I worked here and here. I will keep saying this till the day I die. If you look at job search like dating, when you see somebody you want to date, is the first thing you tell them all the other people you dated? You don't. What can I do for you? Not what did I do for her? Think about that. Or what did I do for him? Twice. What did I do? Yeah, that you don't want to go there. Put a skills section. This is your competencies. These are the three. This is, again, my opinion. 4, 6 things that you are good at, that you pride yourself on doing. If you want to, and now here's where it gets really good. These things you put here as your core competencies, the rest of your resume has to support those things. So if you pull stuff out of your magic sphincter and talk about, I'm great at this and this and this, and your resume doesn't support it, you're going to fall on your face. So the things that this is where we talk about the resume's got to fit together. The 4 or 6 things that you say, here's what I do well. Doggone it, the rest of your resume better show you doing those things well. Okay? So after the summary section, again, in my resume, it's got skills. It's got my competencies, my core competencies. These are the things that I do well. I've been personally in 3 different industries. The reason I've been able to be in 3 different industries, one of the things is, first of all, hey, I've been blessed. I ain't gonna claim it. I've been in job search a couple of times, and thank God every time I came out of it better than when I went in. But I was able to switch industries twice, not intentionally. It was like, hey, brother got to eat. But I was able to do it because I focused on my skills. If you're an accountant, I'm biased toward accountants. One of my degrees is in accounting. Everybody needs accountants. So if you're an accountant in the biochemical engineering field, or if you're an accountant in the auto manufacturing field, or if you're an accountant in online services, you're still an accountant. There are certain skills that are needed across those industries. Okay, so focus on those skills that are useful for that industry, and not about what the industry is. Okay, but have those skills, those competencies. 3 or 4 to 6 things that you do well. Now, whatever you put, and I said it before, whatever you put in your core competencies, your skills, your resume better support it. Because the next section is your job experience. Okay, the next section that's what it is, your job experience. And that's where you list the chronological, is a chronological list of where you've worked and some bullets about each job you've done. How far should you go back? Who knows? Some people say just 10 years. Okay, then that's just 10 years. But remember what I said about those core competencies? I would even say under those core, and then back up a second, when I talked about having those core competencies, have a bullet or 2 under each one. Take those bullets from your job experience. It's okay to repeat them. If those are the only ones you got a problem. But if you have in your chronological job listing and you have a bullet or 2 under each job, if one of those bullets supports one of your core competencies, copy it and paste it up there. Okay? Because then people can make the connection between, oh, this person said they're good at this. Oh, here's a job where they did it. Because, oh, okay, let me talk about this. Okay? Well, I read somewhere online. It said, bottom line, the goal of the resume is to get hired. Period. You get hired, you got a good resume. Get you the interview. No, let me back that up. The resume's job is to get you the interview. Okay. After that, resume is irrelevant. Okay. But your resume's job is to get you in front of a hiring manager. Once it's got you in front of the hiring manager, then the rest of it is on you. But take from your job experience, take bullets that support your core competencies. Okay. That's where you get them from. Okay. If you said you can do this, show me. Where'd you do this? Well, I haven't done it per se, but I know I'm good at it. For real? Really? Next. Okay? Be able to support your BS, your lies. It's funny, as I was thinking that there have been several people that have lost jobs for the simple fact that they lied on their resume. Maybe I should have said that up front. I didn't think I had to, but in case I do, people don't lie. There are too many online databases where we can check everything. We can check everything on your resume. Again, one of my degrees is in accounting. There is the thing about it. Forensic accounting is a field of just going in and investigating books, because every transaction takes two people. Okay, every financial transaction takes two people. Okay, if you embezzle, there's a record of it. Okay, everything you do, people, everywhere you've worked, everywhere you went and got an education, there's a record of it. So don't lie. Don't lie. It's just don't lie. Period. Period. End of story. Don't lie. Okay. You can make the past look good. Like if I met one time a man who was in prison, had been in prison for 10 years or so, and got out and he was trying to find a job. And he was like, well, how do I put this on my resume? I had to think about that one. And I asked him, we were talking, and I said, okay, well, what skills did you gain in prison? You know, were there skills that were good people skills, you know, organization skills, things like that. Don't lie and don't say where you been. Put federal penitentiary, wherever it was. Just put it out there, okay? But try to have conversations with hiring managers. Try to get when you have that kind of background. I met a guy one time who was in transition, but he had been the chief technology officer of a company, and he got laid off. Well, the problem is, Amy, I'll answer that in just a minute. Let me just finish the story, Amy, and I'll answer that question. The problem with this guy was since college, he was in college when he got this. He started with the company part time, and when he did that, he left. He dropped out of college because he was just getting promotions all the time. So he's like, I ain't got time to finish the school. And he got promoted to chief technology officer. He got laid off. He never had his college degree. Now everything he applied for needed a college degree. So dude is screwed 3 ways from Sunday. But I told him, what you need to do is try to get in front of people. You need to start having conversations, okay, with hiring managers, with boards of directors, with people like that. If you want to get back to that level, you want to start having those conversations so that you can say to somebody face to face, look, I didn't finish college. And they're like, well, how did you get to this level? Because I'm the man. That's how I got to that level without a college education. Bam. Okay? That's how you do it. But you got to have conversations and don't rely on your resume. I got a question. Amy says, why do your testimonial quotes on your resume not have names or sources to verify? If you mean my resume, my testimonials and quotes are linked from my LinkedIn page. Okay. If you're looking at my online resume, it's a 3D resume, so it's got pop-ups and things like that. If you download the paper version of it, either PDF or Microsoft Word version of it, you'll see there's no testimonials on it. But on my resume, I pulled my testimony on my online resume. I pulled my testimonials from testimonials on my LinkedIn page. That's a good question, Amy. I never thought to clarify that, but those testimonials on mine, they're on my online resume and not on, So anyway, wow, we ran over. Thanks for that question, though. Anyway, the last two things, you got references and education. We got about 90 seconds left on this, but we got references. Don't give them. People will ask for your references once they start investigating you. Nobody puts references on their resume anymore because all resumes are electronic, so nobody's puts money. And your education, put your education. Put where the highest you've achieved. School, what degree. Don't lie about the degree. I frankly had somebody who lied about a degree they got after I tried to help them, and it kind of blew up in their face. If you don't have the degree, you don't have the degree, and leave it at that. Okay, just don't lie. So anyway, I got about 40 seconds left on the Blog Talk Radio feed. So I don't have any questions. I'll probably end the Facebook Live feed as well. But I want everybody, thank you for listening this week. Thank you for your comments, your thoughts, your prayers, all that good stuff. I do this every Saturday morning. I do this from 10 to 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. You can see me I'll put this on YouTube as well. So with that, everybody who listened, thank you so much. We'll do this again next week. Feel free to send me questions either on my Facebook page or LinkedIn or wherever, and we'll try to answer them. But until then, everybody, thank you so much. This is fun. I love it. I love the interaction, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. and bye-bye.